And we are live. A warm welcome. Thanks for watching us again. Nice to have you here. I'm not alone. I'm together today with Matteo. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to our humble studio here in Huizen. And nice to have you here. This time we are doing it in English because Matteo is all the way from Germany. Or France actually this day.
Yeah, I was on holidays in France, so a little bit of a jump back and around, but here I am.
You had a good trip?
It is. As a Latino, the opportunity to take these European trains is always incredibly fun for me. It's a bit longer, but it's always very nice.
Nice to have you here. Thanks a lot in advance. Nice to have you here as well. Of course, like you are used to, you can look back this video afterwards or at another moment. No problem at all. Today, Kevin is behind the screen as well for answering all your questions about LastPass. That's the issue that we're talking about today. All your answers, feel free to put them on LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever you like, or if you can mail them afterwards. We're happy to answer them all. And if you do like this content, please subscribe and on our YouTube channel or LinkedIn channel, and we will appreciate it. So, for a starter, Matteo, what is your role in the company LastPass? What do you do?
I do what is called a solutions consultant. Some other people might know it as pre-sales engineer or engineer in selling, etc., etc. Basically, what I'll try to do is help out clients in the initial setup, try to understand where this product works for their environment and how would it work, and then maybe help out to polish out any kind of conflicts that might arise on the implementation of it. So that's it. And then I come to places like this and talk a little bit about LastPass.
And I was talking about LastPass because you split up from LogMeIn.
We're on the process. There's no more LogMeIn, by the way. Now we will be GoTo, which is all of these products for, I will say, meeting, webinars, and these, and also remote access like Resolve and others. And then LastPass is gonna go its own way as a password manager, as a unique company. We're quite excited about that. We're really looking forward to see what will happen when we are our own company and all of our resources just LastPass.
In my opinion, a great move. Just LastPass, just a password manager, nothing else. Just to get a feeling on it about the company, is it? Do you have an office in Holland or somewhere else? Or how many employees do you have?
Well, currently, and because we haven't split, we will be in Europe. We will be in Dublin. We'll be in Karlsruhe in Germany, Dresden, Munich. We do have an entity in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, but there's not actually an office just yet. And I think that's it for now. It's difficult for me to say at this point whether that's exactly where we will land, at least physically, in the future. Likely yes to begin with, but for now that's the footprint in Europe.
Okay.
Well, if not, HQ is Boston, back in the States.
Okay, great. And when was it established? Is it?
The company, as in GoToLogMeIn, it's been 15 years or so, something like that.
Okay.
LastPass was acquired at some point as well, 10 years or so, probably, something like that, with the myriad of different products. So yeah, we'll be in the business for quite a bit. There's quite a bit of experience, especially in the people that are in the company.
And last question about the company. I'm just curious. We from the Holland IT group, Hyper, Intelligent, we are reseller of your product. We talk later on about the added value, but we are reseller of your product. How many resellers are there in the Netherlands, in Europe? Do you have any idea?
In actual numbers, no, but what I do know is we have much more resellers in the Netherlands than we have in the other different markets in Europe. I think that probably the Netherlands are very aware of the necessity of maybe, password manager and cybersecurity. Not exactly sure what it is, but it's definitely
moreover than Spain, else, Italy, or whatsoever.
Yeah, I particularly personally work a lot with Spain and France. And I think we're more on the moment of trying to educate people of you need this, you should be having this. Where they are in the Netherlands, it's more like we need it. Just we know what it is, kind of,
How come? Any clue? Because we are trying, we do our best to make our customers aware of the necessariness of thinking over of your security level and your security quality, etc., etc.
Well, that probably you just answered that question actually. You being yourself one, I think that's exactly what you've been doing, and then we arrive into a market that's kind of ripe. He's being educated, and then we just come and provide the tool when we don't necessarily need to try to set up the tone for it. So I think that falls back on your lap.
Okay, I get it back. Great. Well, let's talk about let's take away the elephant in the room. Just for a starter, can a password manager, which store every single password I do have, can it be safe? Is it safe? It's the main question we get from our customers.
Yes, well, actually, I might have...
I hope the answer is yes, but...
It definitely is. Well, one thing in cybersecurity is there's nothing is 100%. The reason why not is in a cybersecurity, you either have an insanely secure environment, but then you are talking about a Mission Impossible example where you like really open the vault and it's just impossible. Every time you're going to work on team, whatever, it takes forever, it's very cumbersome. Or you have a very easy to use environment in which you are sacrificing a lot of security. So most cybersecurity tools are going to try to look onto that balance. And when you have that balance, you will always have a little bit here, a little bit there. So normally cybersecurity tools will overlap and try to cover each other's kind of semi-holes. Now when it comes to Password Manager, or rather to LastPass, our security model is this one here. It's a zero-knowledge security model. And why we're confident about it is this. You see this little box here? This part here is our service. And everything else will be with the little line there, with the dotted line. Okay, that will be LastPass service. And the rest of it is local device for a particular anybody. And
local device is the browser,
your computer,
browser as well.
Your cell phone, whatever physical that you may be having to interact with us, that's your local device. Now, what's interesting about LastPass and the zero knowledge is that your master password will also be your decrypting password. Why a decrypting password? Because anything that you store with us will be encrypted using this right here. If you want to Google it, it's fascinating how that happens. But what that means is that any information that you put there will be randomized in a sense. So if you were to look at it just like that, it will be symbols and numbers and completely crazy stuff that you cannot possibly understand. So you will need something to decrypt that, which that will be your master password. Now, why is that important? Because we never actually get the master password. What we do with the master password, it was going to hash it. Again, in a sense, is a randomizing way. So we never actually get the password. This is my password, LastPass will never get that you wrote, this is my password.
The type of hashing is a bit technical, but it's complex. And
it's complex. The hashing, it's randomizing, and then we're going to salt it too. So that means that we're going to add yet another randomizing piece to that randomizing previous piece. So if you were to backward, it will never be the same. So it's really, look it up. We have by the way, we have a LastPass blog. If you want to go and check that out, we talk about these things. It's really interesting if you like mathematics or things that are a bit more, not even technical, but mathematical, is because this zero knowledge comes from the zero knowledge proof, and that's a mathematical concept. And you should check it out. It's really incredible. Anyway, I'm going around the bushes here. So what we will do, we'll hash it. We will hash it even once more, and we will get an authentication hash, which will tell us this is the actual user. So we never do get that master password. We'll just get a scrambled version of it that will give us a token, and then we will say that's the user.
In short, so far, you don't know our master password.
That's the one.
And you don't know our passwords which we store in the vault.
No,
you don't know
we
nothing.
Never get that at all.
And only the combination of all you of and the user will...
Yeah, so what we will do is that whenever you connect from whatever device, we will get a copy of your encrypted vault. That's the scrambled version of your vault. And we will keep that on our servers. That's the part we keep on our servers in encrypted way. So you connect, and we say, that's the user. Then we send back a copy of the encrypted vault to whatever device, or we sync it if you already use that device. And then inside your device, the decryption takes place, and you can access your material.
I get it.
So why is this a warranty of security? Because we cannot do it for you. The decryption never happens on our servers. So there's no way we, as the person that's giving the tool, can access that information. if by some improbable scenario somebody will be a man in the middle or something like that kind of attack, also doesn't work. There's no encryption made outside the device. And also it means that if this part disappears, this still works. You can access your vault offline because you have an encrypted version of your vault inside your device. And the same, if LastPass breaks down, whatever, it still works. But also, and probably more importantly, if somebody steals everything from this particular site, they're just gonna get a bunch of things like this. And that means nothing. Or if somebody steals your device or makes like a memory attack or something like that, they still have a bunch of encrypted things that don't work. And just in case you're wondering, what if we do a brute force attack or decracking or something like that? If you Google how much it will take to decrypt that type of encryption, you will see it's in the million trillions of years for the biggest computer in existence at this point, quantum computing and this kind of stuff.
All right, you don't have to Google. We will share those slides with you later on, don't worry. But all right, thanks. Okay, zero knowledge security model. A nice sentence, we get it, thank you. Well, we have two types of audience at the moment. I guess we have some end users, but also some decision makers of our customers. And I'm sure some of them are not using a password manager at the moment, not yet, maybe we should say. Just to get to the open question, why is a password manager absolutely necessary nowadays?
Well, I think the thing with the passwords is it's the human behavior when it comes to passwords. Normally and understandably, and I think we can probably go to this, especially now during the pandemic, right? Before, obviously, we had many passwords, but with the working from home and whatnot, this increased. This is 2021, by the way, so this probably had a tendency to even raise further. So we have more and more and more services that we're using for even completely, like yesterday, I stay at the hotel and I have to access the Wi-Fi, and in order to access the Wi-Fi, I have to create a profile in the hotel database. So that requires a password. So what usually a person will do, because of course this plus that, we're looking at, I think the average is 30 low to 70, 80 per person in a professional environment, passwords. So people will use the same exact password or variations of it. This is a strong password, and then they will use that or this is a strong password 89. This is a strong password version 2. This is and all of these things, whenever you start having a similar root, that will give cyber criminals a way of creating dictionaries in order to crack your password in whatever environment we're talking. So you're creating risks towards critical passwords, be that business, be that personal things. So because we know that you cannot possibly remember if you were to make unique password or passphrases, all the good stuff that we know generates a good password.
Sometimes when I have a discussion about that, the reaction will be like, there's no problem because I will create a random password, and every time I have to access the portal, the site or whatsoever, I just fill in, I forgot my password, and I re-render a password. What will your reaction be? Well,
I mean, likely you could, definitely, but then you're looking at what's the time of that.
Yeah, okay.
And it surely looks like a micro time. I say reset and do it, and that's it. I'm gone. But then again, let's look at the numbers again. How many applications, sites? You may be talking the hundreds. If you have to do every single time, even in your work environment, you probably have to access 6, 7, 8 applications that are critical. If every time you log in the morning and you have to do something like that, or you might have to do something like that, what that means a year? We're spending hours resetting and assuming that the password depends on you. If depends on your IT manager or somebody else, or maybe a manager of a given service, now you have to contact somebody else. It's just, so what we say, it's either easy of use or it's either very secure. So we're looking right there. We're looking what's the balance, what's the right balance.
All right, great, okay, I get that. You explained already a password manager solution like LastPass is safe. It's saving a lot of time in case of balancing user-friendly and security. You have a lot of data. You're an international company. You have a lot of data. What can you say about the numbers. How many companies? Well, let's stick into Holland, but stay into Holland. How many companies, in percentage or numbers, or just in order, are using a password manager, or the other way around, still need to implement a password manager?
I do have a bit of a number somewhere here.
You have slides for everything, huh?
No, not too much, but enough. We have 80K business clients. 80K by the way means...
This is Europe or worldwide? Or?
This is worldwide. Like 85K business wide. This means like companies using LastPass. So that can be 5 users. That can be, I think one of the biggest I've done is 100,000 users in their environment. So, you know, that goes up to 30 million registered users. Now, to crunch down those numbers, I'm not exactly sure in the sense of everything, but what I would say though is that if companies are not using a password manager right now, they're likely going to very soon. Reasons for that, for instance, is that things like insurance for cybersecurity are starting to forcing companies to have a password manager as a part of the deal. You need to have something. Or certifications. Maybe somebody comes to do an audit and you have no password manager, they're gonna just say, nope, that doesn't comply, and now you have to come up with one. The reaction before was always, it's in addition I have to pay what is it, $3-4 a month for every single user to use a password manager. But feel free to look it back on our YouTube channel. We had a guy, Xander Koppelmans. His company was attacked by cyber criminals, and I believe him for his word. He said one thing: if I could do it over, I should have used a password manager because my passwords were too simple and too short, and they cracked it, and that was in the end the problem. So, in your opinion, in the upcoming years, every serious company is going to implement a password manager. Yeah, and it's for those reasons. But then, please go ahead. You had something else.
That have been said, then I'm curious. In your opinion, what is your vision about password managers? Because great vendors like Google, Microsoft, they are now already trying and experimenting on passwordless environments. What is the future for LastPass?
Well, but the thing with passwordless is that when you talk to the broader audience, there's a sensation that it's the future and it's something that we're looking and we will get there. Actually, no, passwordless is here now. It's just in shapes that we don't necessarily understand as passwordless. If you have a single sign-on, that's a form of passwordless. You have connected into a bigger program and identity provider, which, for instance, LastPass could be, and then you access to other applications without putting a new password. That's already a type of passwordless. We have biometrics that are already in function. If I go to my cell phone and I want to access any kind of app on my, I will open my LastPass and open it with my fingertip. That is already a type of passwordless. And then we are implementing and working towards, there's things that are already there, like workstation login. This is provided by Microsoft or such, but integrates into our structure, so that, for instance, when you start your computer, you just put that finger somewhere and that's it. It opens. This exists. Now, the idea that it lives in the head of the people, that maybe you go on to anywhere and put your finger and that's it, you go through and you never have to have a password again. Perhaps, but the sensation out there is that passwords, they might be the first point of security now, and they might become the second, in the sense that you might start with biometrics, but perhaps you will still have to either input a password or is your by side.
It's not a definition of passwords, but still there has to be stored, somewhere there has to be stored a hash, a password.
Exactly, there's got to be some mathematical, because even your biometrics, and something that people forget is that when you put your biometrics, this is translated into mathematical symbols and whatnot. So it's not that we have a photo of your fingerprint and we could yes, that's you. No, this is stored as data. So in that sense, it's unlikely there will be a PIN code, as a password. There's something like that will work with these things. What we're talking about is more and more factors of authentication that will allow for certain flexibility. But passwords for the immediate future, I doubt they will just completely and entirely disappear. You will still need to save, create, and store somewhere.
Okay, thanks. Total different question. suppose we have a fictive company, a fictive organization, and they decided to use a password manager. Everybody happy, and they migrate all their existing passwords into LastPass, etc., etc. And then the unbelievable thing happens. I'm not sure how, but let's say LastPass is offline. Your servers are down or whatsoever. Then what to do? What is your reaction? Because I have only one password, my master password, and without being able to log in my password vault, I can do nothing. What to do?
Well, that one is very short because we can go back to the security system. Well, it doesn't say it there, but that's how we explain it. Since the decryption happens locally, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You will be able, as long as you has already connected with that device. Mm-hmm. Of course, you could have like a critical scenario where nobody has ever connected the first time or something like that, which is unlikely. Even when you started doing like a test of the product, you already
if
have.
That situation will be able for it's existing, then your smallest problem is your password manager.
Exactly. Yeah, that's not. But in this case, you will have that encrypted vault copy inside of your device, so you can access it. There's nothing.
So there's no necessary at all to note them offline on a book or paper or in a local vault. It's not necessary, or
that's a very actually good question, because we do come up with that a lot, with the idea that LastPass is a cloud-based tool. And are you on premise? No. Is there a way? No. There's nothing on premise. We never do that, and so that this might come up, but then. We're giving you the keys to the kingdom, and then you lock them away in a sense. And what if we cannot open that other door? And again, we just come back to this because it's very simple. Is think of us in a sense as a backup. We are the backup because the information you actually have it, you on your device. That's it. It's right there. And we just make sure that we sync it. We keep it in a very complicated form.
For synchronization and backup.
And that's it. But otherwise, you will never lose this information.
So even when we cut off your part, so to say, you can extract in an export or whatsoever all the passwords, usernames that are stored in a vault.
Yeah, everything. You will have access to all of your information. No particular problems. It will be just the nuisance that if you add a new password, it won't sync until there's either internet or LastPass come back in a hypothetical case. But that's it. All you're waiting for is syncing. Otherwise, it just works like it used to.
I'm absolutely sure our audience, our decision makers are convinced. They are ready to go and use a password manager. But I do hear them thinking, what should I use? Should I Dashlane, KeePass, OnePass? There are a dozen.
So many.
Why should we choose LastPass?
That's an interesting question, because since there are so many, if you will have to sit down and make like a list of comparisons. But I think in broad lines, there is certain things that go for LastPass. The first one, I'm thinking about end users. We are ease of use. Like we have thought of a product that the IT manager can go and think around and stuff as the person that maybe connects just to the system and starts working. So something that's very automatic, fills in, does the stuff without being in the way. That's it.
The design was made up
for everybody
in the perspective of an end user.
And of end user, and like for everybody. Like you want it complicated, we have, for example, a desktop application, and then you can set up like virtual machines and things. You need a certain technical knowledge for that, or you can just have it on your extension and have it fill it automatically things for you, and you go in. So it's simple, which I know for certain other products, sometimes people say like, oh, I cannot put this to the general normal user. And on the other side of that coin is our capabilities from the administration point of view are quite extensive in the sense of policies and reporting, knowing what people are doing, how are doing it, when they're doing it, prohibiting or enabling certain things. We have a much sense of possibility of doing that. And the last one is a little bit, I don't know, because we do have a lot. We have a lot of people, when we talk to them, like, I'm using LastPass, so I'm trying to bring it to the company. And you're always wondering, well, why is that? There's got to be something that we're doing correctly, because they don't necessarily bring in something out like, oh, this is the reason. They just like it. And I think it's also the presence. And I think the last one I will put to that, if I may, probably to give a shout out to my colleagues, is
please.
that we have a lot of different teams, like the CSM, this Customer Success Manager. So this is a team that makes sure that the implementation in a company goes according to plan, and they will help set up things. We have professional services that can help you integrate with a bit more specific things, APIs or stuff like that. You have my own team, the solutions consultancy, that is there to help you through these first steps. And then we have all this this network, sorry, that's Spanish for network, by you.
He speaks a lot of languages, more than I do. So,
of partners that help us as well with putting the product in people's hands and teaches them how to use them. So I think we do have a big backbone of support, of like how can we help you with real people. That sometimes in the world of software as a service is lost in the wind because you don't actually go into a place and buy the product. So it's who are we buying? It's a machine, some website somewhere, and there is somebody behind that are very eager to come. And even you, in your case, you'll be there, and we will also support you. You will support. There's always a big network of support of real people that are willing to help you.
And in addition, in our survey of we made as a business, as a company, we made a decision. In our services, we need also to add a security solution, a password manager, and in our search to which password manager will fit the best, we came up to LastPass, because one of the reasons was, in my opinion, your company is very open on attacks, what goes well, but also the things that are going wrong, and you're but that's very important. But just like you said in the beginning, our 100% security doesn't exist, and you're open about the things that you're struggling to, or upcoming attacks or threats or whatsoever, and I think that's a good thing. So
as I say, if you want to go around the internet a little bit, we do have a blog. Our support site is massive with all of the different things and things like that. You can see, for example, in the blog is where have we had attacks or things like this. There are articles out there that talk about that. There is a technical white paper if you want to get deeper into exactly how it works. It's quite fascinating. I mean, I know I am the solution consultant guy, so I like to read it. Not everybody's cup of tea, but it's interesting. So yeah, I think it's quite an open book, and you can just reach out to us as well.
And the benefits of using LastPass for family and for your family as well.
Yeah, that's a big one that people are not usually aware of.
No.
I think I actually have something. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, a slide already. Great.
So, and this one is really important. If you have a LastPass business account, as in your company has provided you one, or you bought one for your employees, everybody gets the possibility to reclaim a family account. Now, what is a family account? A family account is you're gonna have, in reality, 6 users, you being the 6th, like the manager, and you can give 5 licenses to your family. So, significant other, maybe a friend, like who are we to decide who your family is? You can give it to 5 users. We're gonna get into
We're
that kind
one
of
big family.
Yeah,
okay, great. Yeah.
And the great advantages of this is that if you think of your professional world as this security bubble, cybersecurity bubble, then you can now think of this extra little ball that you're adding into your personal life, because you will need it. Like, go ahead and do right now. Connect to your bank. How does that happen? It's a password. It's something. Where are you keeping this password?
And also, if I may add, the possibility to share your Netflix account, your Disney Plus account, or whatsoever, to share it with your family, and not app it, WhatsApp it, or whatsoever.
What's that? Yeah. No, exactly. You will have the sharing capabilities on the families as well as you have it on your job. So you can create folders and decide what goes in it. And by the way, because sometimes it comes around a little bit, like, that means that I can see all of the websites my son is using. No. You're just giving them the vault, and then they're doing the thing. There is no reporting in the family wise, so you don't get to know things that you not necessarily want to know about. There is a privacy, and also in between your professional and your family. The admin of for example, your professional cannot sneak a peek on your family. It's not the way it works. You can link the accounts. Which what it means basically is that from your business, you can use whatever is on your personal, so you don't have to switch accounts all the time in the extension. But that's it. Anybody but you don't have that visibility. And like, for example, if you leave the company and your professional account is gone, your personal will remain. And we will eventually, at some point, we'll ask you whether you want to keep the families and then start paying for it, or go back into a free account. your data is not lost.
Great benefit of LastPass. Free,
This is
free family accounts.
It depends on that.
And then again, please feel free to put your questions below YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever you're watching now. My colleague Kevin will answer all your questions now or later on, doesn't matter. And of course, all the slides we will share later on with you. So about the time, but I do have 2 questions I have to ask Matteo. The first one, suppose I'm an existing user. On the other side of the camera, there's an existing user. What's your best tip? I'm an existing user and I use LastPass for a time at this moment. What is your best tip? Your best to get more out of LastPass?
I think we do a lot of proactive towards that, but the one thing I will say is go to your security dashboard. Your security dashboard makes an automatic analysis of what you have inside your account and will tell you whether you have doubles or you have weak passwords, and it has like a number with a color, and that will go up to green and 100%. Make sure that number is all the way up and make sure that it's all as green as can possibly be, because if you're doing that, you're taking out of the product everything that it does, because that means that you have, randomly generated password, nothing is double. You have probably a double authentication factor in there. It takes into account that. So if that is green, you're using the product all the way, and that's just one single thing.
The colors are working because I'm speaking on experience. You get a bit competitive on using those colors and those greens. You want to
yeah, actually,
good tip.
And if you are an IT manager, I do recommend you use that to play. We did it in LastPass. We took screenshots of our own, and then we put it on our internal communication and say, look what I got.
Yeah.
Now, Mark, show me yours. And if Mark was very low, he was going to work to it, and then. And because there is a general one as well. So this just use that, make it green.
Great tip, thank you. And I have to ask, of course, please do give us a spoiler. What's the next upcoming new feature on LastPass? Because you develop a lot. What's the frequency of deploying new versions?
I don't know. That really
weekly,
depends on what are
monthly,
we. Yeah, it could be weekly, monthly. It depends on what are we doing. But real changes is normally by quality.
Give us a big spoiler.
I think that one that we've been hearing a lot, that I don't exactly know where we will be able to use that, but it might change a few things, is that we start supporting FIDO2 type of authentication. Now this will change the way we interact with authenticators and the way we generate certain acceptances into the accesses to LastPass, and even sometimes the way the password might work. So I'm not exactly sure what it does to this point, but I know it's been very like, hey, do we do this? Not just yet, but we're working on that. So I think we can keep a lookout for the FIDO. And as in right now, I know that one thing that we will do that will help the end user a lot is we're gonna improve a little bit the importing processes for everything. So if you were in a different password manager or you were using, for example, your browser, this will become more obvious and better walk through, like how do I go take those things, put them in LastPass so you don't have to manually feed your vault. So just more automatically. So we're doing that right now. That's gonna help.
Great. Time flies when we're having fun. We're at 30 minutes talking already about LastPass.
That's really cool.
We appreciate it a lot that you came all the way over. And we have one of the Dutch habits is eating. I'm not sure if there's an English word for it, but we call it drop. And you can eat it. So, just to a small appreciation of your visit here. It's from drop. It's candy, and to be symbolic to a password manager, it's our keys to keep things safe. So that's for you. Have a good way back to Germany, and thank you a lot for visiting us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Participating in this on this webinar, and for you, thank you for watching. If you still have questions now or afterwards. Please don't hesitate. You have our contact. You can write them down on YouTube, LinkedIn. Don't forget to subscribe. I would appreciate it a lot. And for now, I will say thank you for watching, and hopefully we see you next time. And a small spoiler from us. Next time we'll talk about a new product. We have designed a assessment for qualifying your security level on your organization. We'll talk about next time. So hopefully see you there. Till next time. Bye-bye. Time.